Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's the match preview of Spurs against West Ham United. Both teams involved in deadline day signings yesterday, back after the international break. A good one for myself, a not so good one for Gonzo. But we're not here to talk about how well Scotland done. We're here to talk about the game tomorrow afternoon between Tottenham and West Ham. Gonzo, as always, can I get your thoughts on Spurs, please?
Yeah, funny, we seem to obviously do this preview every year because obviously both teams have been Premier League teams for whilst we've been doing this. We normally go on to say how well the Tottenham are run. That's normally our precursor to anything. We normally say how well Daniel Levy's done, how well Tottenham are run, the training ground, latterly the stadium, and now they're really the model for how to build a football club. I think that's changed a little bit, really, bearing in mind that they had to obviously dip into the furlough scheme, and then at the point where there was an awful lot of backlash to that, they then stopped doing it because they didn't want to pay their minimum wage workers. Then also they took a loan out from the government, and so I think if that's the case, then you probably can't say they're particularly well run this season. I think the stadium was really poorly timed for them. I don't think they've got. I think that is really unfortunate. Nobody could plan for that. And I think if you plan and you build such a big stadium and you're reliant on income from NFL games and just football games, as it were, and particularly the corporate hospitality that they were rumoured to be making, I think it was 1 or 2 million per game from corporate hospitality. That was their business model. There's no way they or anybody else could have foreseen the coronavirus happening. So it's really killed them from that. Actually, in terms of the team, so in terms of the management, I'm very impressed. Actually, I've got to say, I'm impressed with Mourinho. I don't have any particular love for Mourinho, but I like the fact that he's not on the scrap heap. I do think he's a good manager. I think he brings a value to football, and obviously, I did wonder when he first came in because obviously some of the fans wanted rid of Pochettino. Mourinho came in, then they wanted rid of Mourinho, and some of them wanted Pochettino back. And now I wonder, maybe they like Mourinho again. I don't know, but the team is looking better, Gio. I've got to say.
Yeah, I agree with that. The on-pitch stuff, I actually thought when they got Mourinho in, when it first happened, I thought actually this is a wise thing. What they're doing, they're chasing short-term success. I think he was unfortunate to get sacked, but I thought they maybe plateaued a little bit. I thought Levy, for whatever reason, just decided to withdraw funding for the manager. I thought Mourinho coming in would maybe give them an instant trophy, if you like, because he values the League Cup, for example. Mourinho was happy to go after the League Cup. When we last done the preview, so my opinion changed, thinking that I think they've made a mistake here. It's almost changed back. This season, I'm looking at them thinking, actually, I mean, the top goal scorers in the league, it's not really something you'd attribute to Mourinho himself, considering he's seen as a defenseman. I mean, it helps when you go to Old Trafford and you score that many goals in one game. That's obviously going to inflate your goal tally. But I think they've looked good this season. They look disciplined. They've looked very hard to break down, but they also carry that threat on the attack and stuff. And I think maybe there will be short-term success for them. I do think it'll go sour at some point. I do think Mourinho and his employer will clash, and it's not going to end great. But it's quite funny actually, that Amazon documentary I think helped Jose Mourinho. I think a lot of people warmed to him particularly. I think a lot of people watched that and thought, actually, this guy's a real character, this guy's a real football person as well. There's a bit of humour behind him and stuff. We've always seen it in spells and conferences and stuff, but sometimes the media beat him down so much, I think he almost just gives up a little bit, and he thinks, well, you know what, you're just going to pick on me, you're just going to pull me down, I'm just not going to give you anything now. And I thought that behind the scenes thing, I thought you got to see a little bit more of him, a bit more real Jose, and I enjoyed it. But this season, what do you think? What do you think Tottenham will achieve this season? And given their start, they're fifth in the league so far, but they're looking all right.
I think they got a real chance at top four, and I think that in itself is a success. I really do, because just given the mitigation what I said, which is clearly a club that is in a bit of financial turmoil in that sense. And everything that we just said about the belief in the manager, perhaps a lack of faith from a few of the Tottenham fans that they had the right guy, and I don't blame them for that. By the way, I can understand that he didn't set the world alight really, and I think it's just going to give them something to get behind. I like the way he's purchased as well, so I think that will assist them. There's no well, Bale aside, maybe we'll talk about him in a second. But actually, with the signings like Højbjerg and Doherty and players like that, and even Rodon yesterday, he's I've always wondered what Mourinho would do if he had no money because he's already been at big clubs. And it's not like he can't make signings anymore, but he can't go out and buy Kylian Mbappe or anything like. He's buying players from Wolves and Southampton and Swansea. That's just the reality. So I'm really really interested, and actually I possibly think that might suit him. I think he's buying round pegs for round holes. I think if he gets it right and he can work that around the talent of players like Son and Kane and what's his name? What's his name? The centre back that I really like. Sanchez, I think he's a really good player as well. I think if he can do that and he can weave a framework around him, I think they can get top four.
Yeah, I think they'll get top four this season as well. I think there's a lot to admire about them, but you also look at their immediate opponents for the top four, and Chelsea's a little bit shaky at the minute. Man United just look like a bit of a mess again, which helps Jose. It means he's already got 1 foot in there, if you like. But the players are playing for him. I think Tottenham have got a bit of a... I don't like using the words dirty streak because it makes them sound like a dirty team, but they're clever now. Out of possession, they're doing lots of little fouls and stuff. It's a proper Jose team now, and it's going to work in their favour. And if anything, I would suggest that was maybe Pochettino's downfall. Sometimes I thought they were a bit too champagne football at times, and they could have done with a little bit of a nasty underbelly. And I think Mourinho's got that about him, and he's got that in his team. I think that's why he likes Eric Dyer so much, because he's someone that will take a booking, someone that will pull someone out if he needs to. And when Dyer climbed into the crowd, I bet you Mourinho loved that. I bet you Mourinho thought, you know what, I like this. I like that this guy, he's got balls. He's happy to go and confront someone, even if he is sitting 20 rows up in the stadium. He's going to go in there and he's going to defend his brother. So if he's going to do that in the stands, what's he going to do on the pitch? For me, he's going to run through a brick wall. And I think he's now, I think we're seeing it in Harry Kane again. Kane's always had that about him. I think we're now seeing... Well, we'll get on to the individual players in a second. But the transfer window, I mean, you alluded to it there. I completely agree. I think they're very clever purchases. Getting Doherty in and attacking right back, because we saw Aurier really attacking last season. He's gone in sort of upgraded on Aurier, getting Doherty in there. I think Højbjerg's what they need. A bit more of a defensive midfielder. At Southampton, he wasn't always a out-and-out defensive midfield because of the formation he played. He was a bit more box-to-box than Mourinho's now sort of saying, no need for that. You sit in there and you let Lo Celso and the likes do the running. And then Rodon's he's a clever signing him. It'll be interesting to see if he steps up. But 11 million, I mean, it's worth the gamble, isn't it? Yeah. But Gareth Bale is back, and this is his second debut for Spurs. What did you make of that signing?
I think it's horrendous. Actually, I do. I think I can only really see it ending in tears. I think Son is a brilliant player. And I'm not suggesting that Son's going to be dropped. Clearly, he won't do that. But he's brilliant. I didn't realise how big he was until I saw him, close up in the flesh at a game. He's big, he's quick, he's fast, he's bright, he's intelligent. He's clearly, you alluded to documentaries, he's clearly got a bit of character about him as well. Clearly has a really good understanding with Harry Kane as well. And I think that probably says a lot for Kane, because actually when Dele Alli was flavour of the month, Harry Kane had a really good understanding with Dele Alli. I think you'll probably look at the end of Harry Kane's career and find that Harry Kane has had really good understanding with a lot of people, in the same way that, Peter Beardsley or Teddy Sheringham or crikey, a guy's name is escaping me now. Dutch midfielder, played for AC Milan.
Edgar Davids?
No, not Davids. The other one, the brilliant one. Oh, they're going to do my head in now. Somebody's going to be screaming. Yeah. It's just one of my favourite ever players. But whoever, you just always said, he's got a good understanding with such and such because he was such a bright player. But anyway, I just see Gareth Bale upsetting the apple cart. I'm really disappointed with players, actually, particularly players like Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale stuck around collecting money. Sean Wright Philippitis is what I call it. He sat around claiming money for a couple of seasons longer than he should. He should have been out there with a desire to play football. I don't like it. I'm not sure he can be anywhere near as brilliant as the Tottenham fans probably hope he can be, or he has been, or he probably wishes he could be. I'd also like to... I'll tell you how much I don't rate it. I'll be really interested. We might have 5 or 6 Tottenham fans watching this. This is what I'd be interested to know. Everyone was very excited about Gareth Bale coming back. If there was a choice if the choice was you get Gareth Bale back, but Son goes to Real Madrid, would you have done the trade? I suspect most people would have said, nah, they can keep Bale, we'll keep Son. And I know it's not either or, but I just feel that in itself puts Gareth Bale in the place that he is. When he left, he was the main man. I'm not sure he's in their top 3 players now.
I get that. I get that aspect, but I do think Bale he's a world-class talent. I mean, is he still world-class? We will find out. We don't know. He's not been playing for Real Madrid. When he's played for Wales, he's not been great. He got hooked at half-time not that long ago for Wales. But he'll play on the opposite side to Son. He'll take Lucas's place. But it does mean that Bergwijn's very unlikely to get a sniff now. It'd be interesting to see what they do. I think Mourinho will keep him back. I don't think he'll start against us on Sunday. I think Bale will be on the bench, but he's a match winner. He's someone that can hit it from 30 yards and score and whatnot. And I'll tell you what, if he's still got the speed he used to have, which I don't see any reason why he hasn't, I'm not seeing anything suggest he doesn't, then he's going to love playing with Harry Kane. Like you talk about Kane's understanding with Son, I agree with that, but I also think Gareth Bale could link up very well with Harry Kane. And that's going to lead me on to our final question about Spurs. You've mentioned a few of them, but pick out another couple or expand on a couple. Players you admire, please.
Yeah, I do think the Højbjerg signing was really good, Geo, by the way. I really do. I think it was clever business. I know you alluded to Aurier earlier, and I do think Doherty was a good signing, but I quite like Aurier. I think he's a good player. I think he crosses the ball really well. I know, obviously, Doherty does as well. I know there's some suggestion that Harry Kane is maybe not as fit as he might be. I didn't watch, excuse me. Well, as you know, I didn't watch the England game. You're the one that told me it was on. But I do think he's a fantastic player. And I said, after that World Cup, I said, you know what, I know the rivalry and all the rest of it. And I said then, I'm not going to give Harry Kane any stick anymore. I think he's really good ambassador for football. I think he's a good ambassador for England as well. And I like him. I just think he's such a good player. He saved them an awful lot of money. I also think he's been a hindrance, by the way, to them. Because I think he's so good that players don't want to sign for him. Because you're signing to play the second striker or just play when Harry Kane is injured. Son, I've discussed him. Lo Celso, I think he's a good player, by the way. Enjoy watching him play. Yeah, that's 4 or 5, isn't it?
Yeah, I will say, I think this will be unpopular. I think Kane's been the best player this season, actually. His all-round play is just unbelievable. The way he can hold up, his vision, his passing. For someone that's such a good finisher, you wouldn't expect them to be that good at creating as well, if you like. You look at Harry Kane's goal stats, you would assume he just stands in the box and knocks it in. Why wouldn't you not? I think it's a fair assumption to make when he scores that many goals. But when you just watch Tottenham, particularly this season, he's happy to drop 10 yards deep to get the ball. Son moves. Son knows Kane will find him, and Kane's got the ability and the vision to find him as well. And it's just unbelievable. His passing range is... It's of what a creative midfielder should have. He generally... I wouldn't be surprised come... I mean, his game's not even built on pace, so it's in his latter stages of his career, he shouldn't impact too much. But I wouldn't be surprised that once he's in his 30s, he has a striker ahead of him, and he sits in the sort of the number 10 role and creates, because he's just unbelievable. I know Salah's leading goal scoring charts, and Calvin Lewin's been fantastic and stuff, but I do think Kane's been just world class this season. Son I really like as well. I'm not too keen on their centre midfielders, to be honest. I know Højbjerg's defence midfielder, but I think Lo Celso's iffy. I think Ndombele's iffy. I think Sissoko's iffy. I think Harry Winks has faltered to deceive. I thought he would become a top player for them actually when I first saw him, but he seemed to have just stuttered a little bit. Harry Winks, he's not really, doesn't really do much. Whenever I watch him, he's okay at tackling, he's okay at passing, he's okay at running about, but he's not really like amazing at anything. I do find he's a bit Spurs is Tom Clever, Spurs is Mark Noble, if you like, and I just think it's not quite good enough for a team that should be challenging for the title, because that's what Mourinho's going to want to do. I'm not sure Winks is going to be part of that. Anyway, enough about Spurs. We're moving on to talk about...
I've had a good old love in Tottenham, haven't they? Crikey.
We have a loving about every team except West Ham.
Yeah. Oh, but can I just say, you mentioned one I forgot about. I do like Ndombele, by the way.
I think since he's come in, I think he's looked okay, but I've not been like wow. I've not watched him and thought this guy is unbelievable. I've been a bit disappointed by what I've seen from him. To be fair,
he's quite disappointed with you. To be fair,
that's all right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. Anyway, right. West Ham is back. Diop is back. Does he get into our back three, Gonzo. Balbuena started the last couple of games since Diop tested positive, but we've kept 2 clean sheets against Wolves and Leicester. So do you keep Balbuena in, or do you put Diop in, or do you do a curveball and put Craig Dawson in?
No, he shouldn't, he couldn't, and he mustn't. I think you've got to have some reward for back-to-back clean sheets. I said to you, G, I said to you when we did our mug of tea and for the patrons, West Ham don't do this. You can look back in history and find very, very few examples of us winning 4-0 and 3-0 and keeping consecutive clean sheets. It's not what West Ham do. It's not in our club DNA. Something's, that was something special there. We need to keep it going as long as possible. And I know it doesn't make for a particularly interesting preview when we can't discuss individual changes in the team. But no, Balbuena has to keep his place for me.
Yeah, it's the same for me as well. I think he has to stay. I think Balbuena's played well. There is a slight worry for me here, and that is his immediate opponent is going to be Son. Now that worries me. I thought we played quite a high line against Leicester, and I thought we got away with it because we read the game well. At times, Vardy made a run and someone would cut the pass out, and I thought that was really good defending. But I also thought if you didn't get that, Vardy was in. Vardy was 1-on-1, and he got 1-on-1 at the end of the match, and then somehow completely fluffed it. But we were 3-0 up at that point, so it didn't really matter. But it does worry me that Balbuena in a straight foot race will not only lose against Son would lap him. Son could slow down at some point and let him catch up and go again and still win the race. That concerns me, but I think he's been really good, Balbuena. He doesn't deserve to be dropped, shouldn't be dropped, and he stays in there. But yesterday, Benrahma cannot play this weekend. We signed Benrahma after the 12 o'clock one, so just for the team news, essentially, he cannot play. Would you make any other changes to the 11, or would you just keep it unchanged from the last 2 wins?
I would keep it unchanged, but even though Benrahma can't play, what he does do is he forces a performance from the couple of people who might be worried about their place from him. So that's always good to have good squad competition in that sense. But you can't change. The only way you can change that team is if you change the formation. I don't know if David Moyes will change formation. He's been a bit cryptic. He sometimes alludes to the fact that he's going to be flexible with his selections this season and his tactics. I guess that will remain to be seen. I have a hunch he's going to go with the 3 at the back or the 5 at the back, whatever you want to call it. If that's the case, it has to stay the same. And it's quite funny, actually, because I say about Benrahma, and I think if you were to look at anybody in the team and think that their place may be under threat from him, just positionally, you'd probably look at Fornals because that's what he's playing, sort of on the left and so on and so forth. And the irony is, if there's one player who doesn't need motivating, it's Fornals. Fornals would play the same whether Benrahma was waiting to take his place or I was waiting to take his place. He just always gives 100%. So you have to go with the same way, the same team.
What about adding Cresswell, though? Because you could argue he's a makeshift centre-back, if you like. I think he's played well, don't get me wrong. Like I said, we both would keep the team. But let's talk about long-term centre-backs, if you like, for the sake of the preview. He's a left-back playing slightly out of position at left centre-back. But we've now just signed a proper centre-back, and Diop's now back. So essentially we're going to have 2 out-and-out centre-backs not in the team on Sunday. And Aaron Cresswell is in there, who's not really a centre-back.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a theory on this, actually.
Ooh.
And it was when... Yeah, there you go. The tactical masterclass from the shed. There you go. Tell you something that you know already. When we were looking to sign that Teletazar from Marseille, it was very much a big, brutish, left-footed, left-sided centre-half. So I thought, okay, well, maybe Ogbonna goes in the middle or stays in the middle and this guy will play on the left, even if you swapped it around. 2 of the goals that we scored in our last game don't get scored if that happens. What we're going to do, keep even more of a clean sheet? We'd already kept a clean sheet. I have a theory that actually, whilst we all want to label everything, and we might want to label this as 5 at the back or 3 at the back and 3 centre halves, I almost think Moyes has created a new position here because I think very much they can switch over. I'm talking about, let's say it's Balbuena and Ogbonna, and make a 2 over there. And when Aaron Cresswell brings the ball forward, what he's doing is giving another crossing option from centre half. And I'm not sure anyone else walks in the team ahead of him. I think Moyes might like it. And the more I look at it, the more I'm asking him, I've seen what he's asking him to do. The more I see Cresswell advance up the pitch, the more I think that he's going to stick with it. I also not ruling out when Benrahma does play, Benrahma coming on for Masuaku, which seems silly because initially you'd think, well, hold on, he's got some defensive responsibilities there. Yes, he does, but whilst we were all looking at Aaron Cresswell as a centre back, um, I can't help but feel that maybe Moyes is viewing him as something in the middle, something in between. But by keeping him back there, he's never so far forward up the pitch that he gets exposed in the way that Traore exposed him last season. He's never out of position. Almost the left centre back forces him to stay at left back when we're defending. Did you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I think on that. So no, I don't think Cresswell's going to change. I think Cresswell starts the game.
Yeah, I think Cresswell will, but I think long term I wouldn't be surprised when Moyes gets a bit itchy. The fact that he's got someone on the pitch out of position, he's got a really experienced centre back, and he's got a young centre back who could reach the top of the game, both sitting there looking at him. And he's got a difficult decision on Sunday with the bench, David Moyes. We'll get onto the bench in a second because it's an integral part of the game, and it's where I think is his weak spot, but we'll ignore that for a second. But for Cresswell, the thing I like is, I know you said we wouldn't have scored two, but one of them, he literally just booted it down the park. It's an assist. Listen, it's an assist on paper, but that's the easiest assist you're going to get. He literally just booted it.
Hoofed it like that. Come on.
He just hoofed it. All the magic was in Fornals' first touch, and then trying to get onto his weak, stronger foot, couldn't do it, so he took it back on his weak and hit it well. But he just belted it down the park. That's all he done. But it was actually interesting because when you listen to Antonio did the Super 6 podcast the other day, and he said the best advice Moyes has given him is to stay in line with the ball. He said if you're always in line with the ball and they pass it or clear it or whatever, you've got a chance of getting it. And it's almost like Pablo Fornals has done that.
What does he mean? I don't understand.
So if Diop's got the ball, be 60 yards ahead of Diop, be in line with Diop. So all Diop has to do is hit it straight and he finds you. And then you think, then I thought back to this goal that we're talking about when Cresswell launched it over the top and Fornals ran after, and I thought maybe Fornals has just done that. Fornals has thought, hang on, Cresswell's got it, let me just get in line with Cresswell. Cresswell just blasts it down the middle, just down in a straight line down, but Fornals knows that this is the instruction. Fornals knows, the manager's been saying, stay in line with the ball, you'll have a chance of getting it. Fornals is thinking,
maybe Moyes is saying, look fellas, none of our cloggers at West Ham United can curl the ball, you better just run straight.
Yeah, defence, just boot it, strikers stay in line with the ball. It's as simple as that. But it's something, it worked. It genuinely worked. But his first assist, the cross for Antonio, this is what I like about Cresswell playing there, because Cresswell's better at crossing from deep. Cresswell's better 30 yards out from goal, having to do that curly crossing. Masuaku is better from crossing from the byline, going down the side of the 18 yard. So them playing out there allows them both to cross from their stronger positions, and it's very difficult to mark. You don't know how to mark it, you don't know how to deal with it, and if you take Cresswell out, you no longer have a running centre back. And I think when you play three at the back, you need at least one centre back that can come out with the ball and just force the other team to move someone out of position, if you like. Otherwise it gets a little bit easy for the team to stand off and say, what are you going to do? And your three centre backs are just passing it between each other until one of them kicks in a straight line and Antonio's in the way.
That's good stuff.
But I like it. I think Cresswell stays in there for now, but I wouldn't be surprised if that position's one that David Moyes is looking at, thinking we could probably get a centre back in there. Are you optimistic for this one?
I am actually. But not just for the fact that we've had those two magnificent results against good teams, really good teams. But also what you mentioned about Tottenham there, and that Tottenham are not afraid to perform some of the darker arts of football. I think that's us as well now.
Yeah.
I think we've got that. I think that's West Ham. I think we run hard, we're fit, and we will do that. We'll excuse me. We'll do fouls. We'll be naughty, and West Ham have not always been naughty. So I'm looking at a sort of naughty fest between two naughty teams, which is going to be good. But I am excuse me. I don't know why I've gone craggy. I'm really optimistic about it, mate.
No, I'm so. I think this will be a tougher game than the last two. I think almost Wolves and Leicester's set up information played into our hands a little bit, but then credit to Moyes for setting up that way in order to expose their weaknesses and stuff. But I do think Tottenham's strength, which is their defensive side of the game, might make our counter-attacking difficult and stuff. I've seen Tottenham this season sitting back. They're happy to let the opposition have the ball. And Tottenham have been playing like we've been playing the last 2 games. They've been sitting back, getting the ball and giving it to Son and Kane, saying go, 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 go. And almost both teams now are going to want to have 30% possession this game.
Yeah.
And they both can't have 30% possession. So
maybe the ref can have the ball for a while.
It's going to be a bit of a, we'll just hoof it in a straight line and hope Antonio gets it.
Is it Mike Dean? He likes to be involved.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a difficult game for us. I think both sides are very defensively, very strong, but possess a great deal of threat on the counter-attack. So it could be end-to-end, but I think it's going to be quite a slow pedestrian game for some reason. I think it's going to be hard. They've got better players. Tottenham have got better individuals than what Leicester and Wolves do. Son, Kane, they only need one chance. They can win a game. They don't even need a chance. They just need the ball, 2 yards of space, and they can then do something. So it's going to be a tough one. I am optimistic though. I'm a lot more relaxed actually, Gonzo. I'm a lot more relaxed for this one because we've won the last 2. If we get beat on Sunday, as long as we play well, I'll be all right because we've got points on the board. We're going through a difficult run of fixtures. I'm already sort of confident that what do we play? Spurs, Liverpool, then Man City, Spurs, Man City, Liverpool. We play those 3 teams next. I don't think we'll lose all 3.
No.
I think we'll pick up at least something. And if it's this game, great. If not, I'll still have a little bit of confidence that we will get something against one of the other 2 for whatever reason. I've just been really impressed by how we've been playing the last couple of games. His bench though now looks a little bit stronger. I know Benrahma can't be on it yet, but he's got decisions to make with the defence. I don't think you can have Dawson and Diop on the bench. There's no need for that. I don't. He
will.
I've got a worry Ben Johnson won't be on the bench. That is my worry, and that we will see Diop and Dawson. I'd rather just have one plus Ben Johnson. I hope we don't see Mark Noble start. That's a little a niggle in me. I don't think he will change it, but I think if we drew against Leicester, I think he might put Mark Noble back in. So I'm hoping Noble remains on the bench from the start for this one. But Yarmolenko, Lanzini on the bench, Sebastian Haller, plenty of options on there. No difficult decision, but he's got one next week when Benrahma's in. Can I get your final thoughts on the game, Gonzo, and your score prediction, please?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to repeat what you just said, but the same. Points on the board have made us feel a lot better on what was a horrendous start to the season. The fixtures were so cruel, and I think almost everybody expected us to be bottom by the time we played Fulham. Well, we won't be. There's no way those teams at the bottom are getting 6 points anyway. So, I mean all season. I'm joking. So I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the challenge. I'm looking forward. Did you ask me for a scoreline?
Yeah.
So, okay. I am. I'm looking forward to the battle between the 2 teams. I really am. This is going to be a great game. I don't think we're going to get thrashed, which will be fantastic as well. I would love it, Geo, if at 60 minutes both teams are still in. Not both teams. I'd love it if we were 5-0 up after 60 minutes. But failing that, and if we're being realistic, if both teams are in the game after 60 minutes and we had a realistic chance of winning it, I think that would be really good, and you could then start looking at form following Arsenal, their 2 games, and then this. I think it'll be a tight game, actually, bearing in mind what you said. So, I got a feel. I don't really want to say. I got a feeling Tottenham might win it 1-0. I do. I don't know why. I hope not. I might change my mind when we do our breakfast show tomorrow. And I don't think I'm going to bet. I think I'm probably going to bet on West Ham winning, but I've got an inkling Tottenham are going to win 1-0.
It's not just the fact that we won the last 2 games, it's the way we won them as well. I thought both games have come out from the first minute. We've been at it, we've been scoring early, and we've scored 1. It would be easy to sit off, but we've not. We've been trying to get goal number 2, goal number 3. And against Leicester, we could have had 6 at one point. And because of that, I'm thinking, here we go. This is something about us now. We are going into this game confident that we will score. I think we will score. But I think Tottenham will be the same, obviously. They'll be thinking, we'll score against this lot, and I think they will too. So I'm going to say 1-1. I think we're going to come out of it with a draw. I remember when we played post-lockdown, not too much has changed. Both teams have acquired a couple of players, but nothing massive. I know people say, Gareth Bale and stuff, I expect him to be on the bench, and this is why when Gonzo says hour mark thing, I'm thinking, well, I know what's going to happen on the hour mark. Gareth Bale's going to come on, isn't he? But he's not going to. He's surely going to be a bit rusty. He's surely going to be I don't expect him to come on and do what he did against us at Upton Park those years ago, where he just picks up 30 yards, flicks it onto his left foot and batters it into the top corner. I'm not sure it's that Gareth Bale anymore, but just bringing him on will send shivers down our team spine, because you're not going to want to be Aaron Cresswell and seeing Bale come on. You're going to think, oh, aren't you? Without being too harsh, if Bergwijn comes on, you're Aaron Cresswell, you're thinking, that's alright, so it's okay. But when Bale comes on, I just think it's just a completely different thing. It's like when Dimitri Payet was unfit for us, so we start on the bench. As soon as you saw him ready to come on, that was it. Your expectation went up, your hope went up, and I think Bale just gives Tottenham that.
I'd rattle him. I'd knock his wig off.
I bet you would. I'd hide his golf clubs or something before the game just to make him a bit uneasy.
Come on, Gareth. We all know you're bald under there.
Yeah, I'd hide his. Yeah. So 1-1 for me. I think we'll do all right actually, but. Tomorrow, if you want to join us, if you're a patron, you'll get your match day morning video. Myself and Gonzo, we call it the breakfast show. We don't actually have breakfast. We've already had breakfast, but we do a video straight after. Just our thoughts and feelings tomorrow. There might be some team news that's developed between now and then. And then we've got our build-up show. So the game's at 4:30. So the build-up show will be just before 3:30, 3:25 or something. We'll go live. We'll look at both lineups, discuss both lineups, our final thoughts on the game. Then Charlie and Tom will be giving a live watch-along. So if you don't have Sky Sports, don't want to listen to the radio, listen to Tom and Charlie on this channel. Then myself and Gonzo will be back for a review. And after we've done the review, we do our player ratings for the patron. We've got a lot of content tomorrow, Gonzo.
Busy boys.
Want to be a patron? Links in the description below. Patreon.com/Hammers Chat. And drop a like if you enjoyed it. Skype, you and Gonzo. I shall see you tomorrow.
Look forward to it.